You're listening to Cultivation Elevated, hosted by Michael Williamson, where we discuss vertical farming and the future of cannabis and food production. You'll be learning key insights for vertical farming success from leading industry operators, growers, and executives. If you're a grower or owner looking to optimize your existing or new indoor cultivation facility, or anyone looking to cultivate more in less space, we've got you covered. Cultivation Elevated, sponsored by Pipp Horticulture.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Cultivation Elevated, sponsored by Pipp Horticulture. I'm your host, Michael Williamson, and I'm here in Switzerland with Sia of Grow Motion. Thank you so much for being on this show today and accommodating us here last minute.
Thank you very much. It's great to have you here. I hope you enjoy the time. I hope you like the facility and yeah.
You know, when we go to a facility, we never quite know what we're going to see. And so we're always optimistic, but sometimes we're a little bit disappointed. And we came here hoping to see a nice Swiss grow, and we were very surprised at the quality of things that you're doing, the caliber of things. So we're very impressed, which is awesome.
Thank you very much. It was a long journey and it was a lot of work the last 3 years, but we tried to make a unique facility for people which visit us to feel comfortable.
Yeah, we've done a great job. Tell me a little bit about that journey. It started 3 years ago.
Absolutely.
And what was it? Someone called you? You called someone? Who had the first idea?
I remember that day that a good friend of mine, we knew each other for more than 10 years. And he gave me a call and tell me, Sia, I have that special idea and I need you for that job. And I told him, what is it? He told me, I want to make a cannabis facility. I told him, why me? I have no experience with cannabis. Why you calling me? You have a lot of friends. You have your own experience with cannabis and you knew so many people. Why are you calling me? And he told me, I have that vision, okay, and I need a partner on my side that he shared that vision with me and he can make that facility in the next few years with me. And we talk at the day for 3 or 4 hours and we argue for different things, why it's a good idea or why it's a bad idea. And I told him, let's make a few steps, okay? And we will see what happens in a few months, okay? And the journey starts, you know.
What were those steps?
The first step was, what if we have a facility? What will be happen then? Because there are a lot of facilities in Switzerland, you know, it's a lot of great grower, a lot of great facilities, but what we can do different, okay, and where we are coming from and how we can use our experience with the next project that we are making. The first step was to find the right people who you're working with, the right engineers, the right people who can construct that facility and planning that facility with us. And the problem is in the cannabis industry in Europe, it's a very, very new industry. Mm-hmm. You're talking to 10 people, okay, and 10 people are the best expert in engineering in cannabis, okay? Everyone in Europe is an expert for cannabis, you know, but if you go into the details, into the planning, then you knew that their experience are a little bit more than you have, okay, but they are not the right people to build that unique facility, okay? We have some special ideas and the people who already built facilities before, they want to do the same again and again. Copy it, paste it, copy it, paste it. But we want to have something different. And we find some engineering team from Holland, some from Switzerland. And the next step was to find the perfect place where we can build that. We find that facility around about 6,000 square meter, middle of Solothurn in Switzerland. I think the infrastructure is here very great. We are middle of Switzerland. France is 1 hour away. Germany is 1 hour away. Zurich is 1 hour away. And that's a great benefit that we have here. And we rent that facility for the next 20 years. Okay.
Wow.
And we say we're going all in. Okay. With all the money we have, with all the time that we have to spend, 2 years, 1 year for planning and 1 year to build that construction, to build that indoor facility. And after 2 years or 2.5 years, we start the first grow.
Pretty quick, actually. It's interesting how people will try and rush through the construction process or rush through the engineering process or design process, and they typically have a lot of challenges later on. So it does make sense to take a little more time up front so that you have a better execution in the end.
Absolutely. Of course, you can build a facility or easy facility for a few months, okay, if you have the right persons. But each problem that you're not fixing before or you're not constructing great before planning, before few years later, you get much more issues with that, you know. We take our time more than 1 year because we want to stay with that facility for the next 20 years, okay? And we take a lot of time by choosing the rack, by choosing the pipe system, by choosing the air conditioning, by choosing the whole ventilation system. You know, we plan it step by step, every detail before we start building one thing.
Who are you watching for inspiration, like locally or within Europe, but also within the States? Like, where did you find like, hey, that's really interesting, I would like to do something like that?
We don't, so building the facility, we don't watch to any other companies, to be honest. We see a lot of companies, we see a lot of indoor facilities, but we had our own vision to make it by ourselves, to make something different. But our goal is in the future to go in German-speaking language countries like Germany, Switzerland, Austria, to go a brand there. We both coming from clothing. Okay, we produce for a lot of German artists, for a lot of German YouTuber clothing. And I think the next few years will be a big journey in Germany. If cannabis will legalized, okay, and we want to be with our brand the first there. We see that in America, we see that in Canada, we see the Jungle Boys, we see the Cookies, they make a great job, okay, and we think with GrowMotion we can do a similar thing for the European market because we have the contacts, we have the experience already with that, and will be next step. If Germany is coming, we will be ready for that.
Let's talk a little bit about your experience prior to this, because when you got that first phone call, you're like, why are you calling me? I don't have any experience in cannabis, but you clearly have experience as an entrepreneur and as someone who knows how to execute and see things all the way through.
Yes. When I was younger, I started to do my business. I finished the school and my mother is a doctor, my father also, and their wish will be that I go to university. But after the school, I was sure I'm not kind of guy to sitting in an office, okay, and be a doctor or an engineer. I want to do my own business, okay? And when I was 21, I rent a shop. Make my first own bakery, okay? I want to make my own business, okay? And with 26, I built my own clothing brand. A few years later, I start to produce clothing for another people or for another companies, supplement companies, rap artists, or different influencers. And my current partner, know that I'm kind of guy, if I start a project, and I will never stop. Anytime I will finish it, okay? I will not call him in between. Oh no, I'll give up. It's too difficult. I cannot make it. And he knew that. He knew that exactly, that if we put our power together, we will build that facility.
Amazing. When you're designing a brand, whether it's for clothing What's nice about the brands that you've done is they seem to be around similar cultures, kind of counterculture, right? If it's like rap music, cannabis is like a counterculture. It has its own culture, and those two things marry together really nice. When you're considering creating this brand and any brand, what do you think is like really important components to creating a brand from scratch? Like, what do you look for?
I think everyone can build a brand, okay? But it's important how you sell it to the people, okay? It's important to find the right community, okay? To build a community, to give them the best quality. And you cannot build a brand and a lot of brands going high at a top level, but after 2 or 3 months, they're gonna forget, okay? And to make a brand or to find the best way to go to the top and be the best or to present your brand will be, you have to find the best quality, you have to build a great community, and to have the right partners. I hope it was answer of your question.
Yeah, it is. Well, and it's never like one thing, right? It's never like one
Exactly.
simple thing. Oh, you just do this and you'll be successful. It's always a combination of multiple things coming together with the right timing, usually.
Absolutely.
Talk to me about how you guys came up with the name GrowMotion.
At the day that he called me, we talk about the name, and a few weeks later, what is the brand? Okay, what will be the brand in long term? If we go with a German artist, if we promote them with German artists, we don't only want to sell some clothing or some cannabis. It's more than that. It's more than that. And we want to get a community. That's why we choose that brand, or we named the brand GrowMotion, that we say we grow, we are community, and we grow together. We are motion together, It's hip hop. We work a lot of hip hop artists, and hip hop is also a community thing, We think that we can make our brand in that genre, and we can place our brand in that hip hop, because hip hop and cannabis belong also together.
Nice. What is something that you wish that you would have known before you got started?
Yeah. The cannabis business in Europe is very, very difficult. Okay. If I knew that before, I will think twice if I do that business again or not. I love my job. Okay. I come in every day with a smile in the facility. I like my team. But the big problem that we have in the current European market is the law. Okay. You don't have exactly laws how to work with cannabis. Okay. It's changed week by week. The politics change their mind every month. Okay. This is the big problem. And for people like us who are all in that business and build high level facilities like that, we invest a lot of money. But if we invest it and we don't know what happened in few years, okay, this is our big problem. And this is the challenge, to survive for the next few years till the law, till the politic in Germany, Switzerland, and Austria find a solution.
It's expensive to play the game that you're playing right now because you have to wait and be so patient. And can you talk a little bit about the crop that you're growing? Because though it looks like cannabis, it's not the THC type. It is a CBD rich currently. Can you talk a little bit about the market and the laws around potency and who's allowed to buy it and kind of...
In Switzerland, it's allowed to produce CBD with less than 1% THC. That's okay. You can do that. Everything over 1% is not allowed. And we try to be the first in Switzerland who get the permission to produce THC for medical. And the whole law in German-speaking countries like Germany and Austria, also CBD now is not allowed. It's only allowed to sell cannabis lower than 0.2%. That means nothing.
Sure.
Okay. This is the big challenge, to make a brand in Germany, okay, with less than 0.2%. This makes no sense, okay? But we try our best to build that community, to represent our brand, and in the long term, when it's legalized, we will be the first or the popular brand in Germany.
And when you have a low THC requirement like that, what's important about the plant? And I know Ben's not here, and your new grower just started, but I would imagine like terpenes are really important, and like that taste, that experience that you're having. But do terpenes play an important role in the CBD game here?
I think the CBD game, the most important thing is the terpene, okay? The terpene, and then how the structure of the buds are, okay? Because there are a lot of facilities or underground facilities who have a big problems, issues with terpenes. They have no LEDs, they have no CO2, they have no cooling system. And the difference between us and other underground facilities, we have a higher level setup here, and we can produce a high level CBD, take our experience for the next 1, 2, maybe 6 months, I don't know, experience with CBD. And if we switched off to THC, then we had a lot of experience with CBD, and we can make a perfect THC product for medical or for.
How are people using CBD in Switzerland? So is it, can anybody buy it? Is there an age restriction or?
Yeah, in Switzerland, everyone up than 18 years can buy it. You can buy it in any shop, very easy. Okay. And you can buy CBD from different companies. It's not a big problem to get it. And it's also okay if you smoke it on the street. But a lot of people do use it very different. It depends on age, and it depends on, for example, if you have older people, they like to smoke just CBD, okay? The younger people who consume THC, they mix it with the CBD, okay? It's great that the CBD is legalized here in Switzerland, because the big problem that we have in Germany, because I grew up in Germany, now I live for 3 or 4 years here. The problem is that we have in Germany, if you buy cannabis, you don't know how they grow it. They don't know what's sprayed on it. They don't know how they come, okay? Who sell it to you? You know, the big thing in Switzerland is if you're going to a shop and buy a CBD, you can be 95% sure that they're clean.
Nice. So people are buying some bulk as well. There's no limit as well. Like sometimes in certain places we go, you can only buy so much of it a day, maybe 10 grams or 28 grams or something like that.
There's no limit. If we're talking about CBD, there is no limit. You can go buy 1 kilo, 10 kilo.
The people that are buying bulk, are they typically like doing it for extraction?
If we're talking like if people coming and buy bulk, okay, they will never use our flowers for extraction, okay, because we have a very high quality, okay, cannabis. And if you use that cannabis for making oils or creams or something like that, it's not made for that. It's just for smoking. But
this is smokable flower.
It's smokable flower, exactly. You have an indoor facility like that. It's just for premium smokers, okay. But there are a lot of outdoor or a lot of facilities who make only bulk or cannabis for making extraction oils and something like that. But we will never sell our cannabis for oil. It makes no sense.
Let's talk a little bit about the genetics that you started with. So you're on your 3rd harvest or batch, coming up in another week? We came at a good time, right?
Yes, you came.
And this one is called Plutonium. Can you tell me a little bit about the relationship you have with the breeder and the story behind Plutonium and why it's unique and special?
We start our first grow with a simple genetic to make our experience. After the 2nd harvest, we talked to a breeder. He is sitting also in Zurich, and he's a very talented guy. I talked to him and tell him, we want to go to the German market. We want to go with special artists. We have exclusive deals with special German rap stars. What we can do, how we can go together, you as a talented guy, okay, and we with our facility to produce a special genetic for our artists. And he told me, come over, let me show you something. And he introduced me that plutonium, and he promised me, okay, if you produce it and I produce it, it will be limited, okay, that we can produce it by ourselves. We don't spread it to the whole market. And we, first of all, we had a small area. We tested for 1 round. We checked the quality. We like it. We introduced it to the rap star, to the rap artist. He also liked it. And we say, okay, let's do that. Okay. And he give us that exclusive for us.
Nice. It makes you different.
That's it. You have to be different if you want to play that game for long term.
Yeah. It's a problem when everybody grows the same stuff, because the only way that you can compete is quality, but usually it's price. And then it's just a price war to the bottom and you get beat up.
Absolutely. This is the big problem that a lot of Switzerland growing companies have. They start with a genetic, and if they not change it or they not check the market, what's happening after a few harvests, they close, they cannot survive.
Do you talk to the people that sell at the different shops for you? Do you get feedback from them about what customers are saying or any of that stuff to help you make decisions here? Or how does that work?
It's very different. Some people, a lot of people in Switzerland who are coming from, who are making that business or buying that stuff, they are coming from black market. Okay, and the black market in the past was like that. You buy something and you don't give a feedback. Okay.
Sure.
Again, that's why all people who switch from the black market to now the official market have to learn that we as grower need that feedback. Okay. That's why they was very confused when after 1 week he buy 50 kilos and I could give him call. You liked it? How was it? He say, yeah, it was okay. Give me a feedback. You want another genetic? Let's talk together. I talk to the shops and say, hey, long term, we want to work long term together. Give me just some feedback. They have to learn it, that the cannabis business or the growers need the feedback from the markets to work and for many years.
Yeah. Otherwise, you could grow the wrong thing. And then if it doesn't sell,
Absolutely.
You got a big problem, right? So you are responsible for creating this team, this brand and this team. When you're creating a team, especially for something as unique as this, what kind of things are going through your head? Like, okay, I need to build a team. I need this kind of person and maybe a person like this. Like, walk me through what you were thinking when you said, all right, I got to build the ultimate team.
We are a very small team. We are just 5 people, 5 workers, and me, the 6th one. The problem is if you have a small team, you have to build a family. Okay, you have to build a small family. You don't need a worker that starts at 8 o'clock and go home at 4 o'clock. And 4 o'clock, he throws his stuff away and going. You don't need people like that. You need a small family that believe in that project, who believe what we want to do in the next few years. And before we start the production, it's very difficult to find people who have experience with growing. And if you have a facility like that, so big like that, you need people who live for that plant, okay, who love that plant. You cannot take someone who have experience for 1 year and I have to teach him how it works. You need people who have experience more than 10 years. And my partner give me a number of a guy who named Ben. I told him, just give him a call. And he grew for many years in a black market in Spain. And ask him and convince him to come from Spain to Switzerland and be part of a team. I tried to call him many times and he don't answer my phone. Phone was off. After I find out that he's in prison, he was in the black market, he was arrested and he had his past. And after a few months with some connection, I told him, what are you doing currently? What you want to go? You want to still work in the black market and go to prison once again? Or you want to have a fixed job, do what you love, okay? And if you eat at the evening, coming home to your son, to your family, that you have to be sure that you will not be arrested, okay? And his answer was, I grow for more than 10 years, 15 years. I can do nothing else, okay? It's my passion. And I invite him to Switzerland. He see the facility and he don't go back. Stay at the same day here. I rent for him a hotel for a few weeks and he stay here and build the last few months the facility with us.
Nice.
Till we started.
It's amazing. It's interesting when you engage with cannabis. It is very hard to leave cannabis for these growers who have a lot of experience. Everything else seems a little bit more boring or not as exciting, or they just, you kind of get negative on yourself. You're like, well, I'm so specialist in this area. I don't know how I can contribute to something else.
Absolutely.
And so it's difficult. I know lots of people who've been in the industry for a long time and they try and leave. They're like, it's enough's enough, or they've made some money or whatever it is. And they go to leave and they only leave for a few months.
They come back.
They come right back and they're ready to play and they're excited. They just needed a little break sometimes.
The problem that the facilities who make indoor growing, they think they have to build a team with growers. Okay, I've been in a lot of facility. They have 6, 7, 8 growers. I see it's a big mistake. You need 2 great grower, okay, which work together. Also important to have the technical guy. Okay, it's also important to have people who are not grower. Okay, because if you have a lot of growers who think different, the result will be never great. Okay, that's why we have Ben as a head grower. Also, last week start a second grower who also growed in Spain and California. I think he will be a great partner for Ben in long term that they can manage the facility. The rest of the team are classic workers or talented technical guy, because in that facility you see our technical room, you see all the technical stuff that we have here, and you need talented technical guy if you want to manage a system like that.
In the States, we refer to the technical people usually as facilities. And I personally think that the facilities supervisor, manager, whatever you want to call it, is one of the most important people on the team. They're the one that come at 2:00 in the morning, when something is broken. They're the first ones on the phone. They're like the unsung heroes of the farm, So some facilities have a lot of growers, and that can be a big problem. You said you saw a facility that had 6 or 8 growers.
Yeah.
It's hard to make decisions with that many opinions and personalities. But you've now brought on your second grower, and the goal is to have those 2 be synced up, but also different with skills and be collaborative in nature. And that way, if someone needs to do something with family, you always have a grower. You're never without a grower, because people need to have a balance with life and the garden. So let's talk a little bit more about the garden. Something that you did here that's very unique, and I commend you because it takes a lot of courage. You said, okay, I see multi-tier. I see everybody doing 2 tiers. We're going to do 3 tiers. Talk to me about kind of how that idea came to be.
Why 3 layers? Yeah, the first reason was we live in Switzerland and the rent for this facility is very, very expensive. And that's why we want to get the maximum of this facility. That's why we make the decision to work on 3 layers. We have this facility have the perfect height to build that 3 layers. And the second thing is we have that great showroom. Okay, we invite a lot of people here from university, from medical people, people who visit us from different countries of the world. And if they are here and step into the facility, if you're working on 3 layers, there's a big wow effect.
Sure.
You know, and they people come in that room, they don't expect to see something amazing, great looking like that. That's why when we stay here and break down the wall, we say we have to do that on 3 layers. Of course, it's much more work. Okay. You need a bigger team to handle that. But of course, you can put in one room more plants if you work on 3 layers.
Yeah, that makes sense. And, you know, when you're in an expensive area and your rent is expensive, you have to figure out how to survive. We see right now in like San Francisco and in the Bay Area of California, also very expensive. A lot of people didn't scale up high enough and they didn't get their operations lean enough or low enough cost of labor. And so they're having a lot of struggles right now. And we see a big conversion happening with people in California who are transitioning from single tier, maybe HPS or LED lighting to a 2-tier system just to survive, because there's no more real estate for them. They can't expand horizontally, so they only have one choice, and it's typically to go up if they have the space. But it's a lot more difficult to transition a room with single tier to double tier than to start from scratch.
Absolutely. When we make that decision, and we had no other experience in Europe. I think we are the only one on 3 layers. It was a big risk, but we trust in our vision, okay, and in our setup that we can manage.
Yeah, one of the things that I think, you know, and Anders is who's with us on this tour, we've been in other 3-tiered grows in the United States, but we do see that there's a little bit of a difference on the top tier, where here your top tier is pretty much the same as your middle tier and your bottom tier, with very little fluctuation, if any, that I can notice. I'm sure there's some stuff that you notice, but
no, the plant on a third layer is similar like the first layer. Okay, the setup is still, when we start to choose our setup, if we start to work with different companies, we try to get the best which we get on the market. We never work with a cheap quality material, because we only planning long term and we want to have the best results. You know, that's why with the setup, each type of setup that we use, technical stuff, we try to make it as best as possible, that we have each grow similar like the next one.
Mm-hmm. What was one of the biggest challenges you saw with the vertical farming on the 3 layers?
The biggest challenge is to find the best workflow with a small team. Okay, this is the biggest challenge. If you work on 1 layer, you are much faster. Okay, if you have not a perfect system how to do the workflows, that is okay. But if you're working on 3 layers or 2 layers, you have to plan everything step by step. The planning is the most important thing. If you start, for example, harvesting, soaking, or defluation, or anything with a plant, you have to have a system on 3 layers. If you don't have a system, you will never get finished. We're talking about 3 layers, 3,000 plants per room. Okay, and if you want to treat them one by one, okay, you have a system for your team. If you don't have it, you're gonna lose.
Yeah, I agree. You guys are utilizing the Elevate platform system for access. You've had it since day one, or you were using something else previously?
No, we have it from day one. And this is, I think, the most important thing in this facility. If we don't have it, we need for every single step, we need double time. Okay,
that's a lot of labor.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and that's why to have the platforms is a big, big benefit. You know, you can put the platform on it. You can work with 10 people at the same time. Okay, if you have an elevator, you're going up, down, you can only work with 1 people, 2 people. You will never be finished. It's not possible. You know, with that platforms, you need around about 7 minutes, maximum 10 minutes with 3 people. to have it perfect. It's very safety. You can walk on it. You can spend many hours on it, and you can work. That's great.
Yeah. Safety was obviously the most important component of what we do. And when you start to go up and you get excited, you're like, oh, we can do this. Our in-house engineering team is like, we have to make this as safe as possible. So it took us a little bit of time to figure out something, because you can make something that's safe, but you also have to make something that's actually practical, and you can set it up quickly. It can't be this big elaborate thing. And so there was a lot of energy and time that went into designing and planning the Elevate platform system. The growers that we have in the States that were using like lifts and ladders and scaffolding previously because we didn't have a solution. When we brought out the solution, when I do interviews with them, they refer to it as a game changer.
Absolutely.
It's just an absolute game changer, which, for us is good because ultimately at Pipp, we're just trying to produce useful tools for growers, make your life easier, make it safer. And we're staying on that quest. That's really important to Pipp.
I think we don't have this platform. It's impossible to work on 3 layers. It's first of all, safety, but you have a lot of process. You have to make the same process you do at this first layer. You have to do that on the third layer, and you need time. If you're using any elevators, if you have not the opportunity to put 7 or 8 people on the third layer, then you're losing a lot of time. The platform is the best solution that we have on 3 layers.
Yeah, it's incredible how much it changes everything about safety. And like when you're going up to a second or even a third level, especially a third level, you have to think about every little part and piece of equipment you're going to need. You don't want to be going up and down, up and down. It's so inefficient. So, like you said, it's really pinpointing all the little details, all the steps. What tools do I need? How long should it take? When should I start? When do I need to end? When do I monitor my pace? And if someone is becoming slow, is there someone I can call to come help me so that I can get this done today? There's a lot that goes into planning, and it's clear that you guys really value the planning process. And it shows in the execution. Usually when we see sloppy execution or poor execution, it translates very directly to poor planning. And they're constantly putting out fires. It's like the fingers in the dike, and all of a sudden they run out of fingers and it all comes crashing back. What's something that gets you really excited every day to come in? It's, you're on year 3, right?
We have the first year was the planning. The second year built the facility, and now in few months we are 1 year old. I think to come here and work here, it's the team. I have a very, very great team. The big problem that I had for the last 15 years when I make my business, to find the right team. I had never 100% team. You have every time people, employer, worker that are not on point. Okay. And with that team, with that small Avengers team that I have here, they are great. They are great. We not only a family, they work by ourselves. I don't need to tell them, yeah, guys, we have a lot to do. We stay today 3 hours more, 2 hours more. They are the first one who telling me, hey, we stay today a little bit longer. We have to finish that job.
Nice.
This is what gives me the power to come every day here and give 100%.
That's awesome. It's amazing when the teams work together. One of the things that happens early on in startup is you have a small team, and so you have this community or family. And then as you grow your business, your team gets larger and larger. And that seems to be where people start to struggle, because you bring on phase 2, phase 3, and all of a sudden you go from 5 employees to 30 employees or 40 employees or 50. And it's hard sometimes to keep that culture and that level of respect. And it's usually where we see, when I do these interviews with growers specifically, when I ask them what their greatest challenges are, I'm always surprised, not so much more these days, but in the beginning, they would always say, managing people. Some of the best growers in the world, they don't really like people. If you go back to the black market, they usually grew cannabis by themselves.
Absolutely.
Maybe they had one partner, but they didn't work in a team setting like this. And so sometimes when they transition over to this market, the licensed legal market, it's a challenge to work with others and communicate with others.
I think this is the most important thing, to communicate. This is one of the part of my job. I love that, to build teams. okay, to build teams in long term. I know, of course, if we have more rooms, more plants, we need a bigger team. And if we are more than 20, 30, it's never been similar like that. We will never be 30 people, will never be same family like 5 people or 6 people. I know that. That's why I enjoy the time now with that small of group. And I know it doesn't matter what happens. They stay by my side.
Yeah, that's awesome. So when we were going through your website, we noticed you have like a unique program that allows people to rent a plant.
Yes,
tell me about that.
We have a limited numbers of plants that we gave the opportunity to a small community to buy a plant. Okay, if they buy a plant, they have also a place here. Okay, and we treat their flowers here. Okay, that's their flowers, but we treat them for them.
Mm-hmm.
And after each harvest, we send them 50% of the cannabis to them.
Yeah.
The other 50%, we will keep it for us to fix our cost.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And these plants are very limited. Okay. We do that for that small community. Okay. And people can choose if they're not interested in the flowers after they harvest. If they can change it in clothing, they can change it in oils on a website. You know, it's up to them. It's
like a credit. It's like a credit.
Yeah, it's like a credit, you know, or you can say, I want a flower. I'm a smoker. I want each 3 months my own flowers to have it at home for free. You buy it just one time and you can every 3 months get your.
Are they allowed to come here?
Yes, we have every Saturday, okay, give the option to everyone who have plant or not plant. It doesn't matter. Have the opportunity to visit us, okay? We have that room here. They come, they drink coffee, they can chill with the team and enjoy the time. We have that every Saturday. That's why I told you, this is very important to build a community for us. You know, that's why we have the opportunity. We are very transparent. That's why they have the opportunity. Saturday, come over, check the facility. You're welcome.
That's awesome. And do you find that there's a very vocal community here, or is it pretty secretive, like publicly? Like, are they so thankful to be able to come here and meet other people that are buying plants and to share their experience, or?
They come, the most of them come here to see an indoor facility that is different from other, okay? They come to see our growers. Our growers are very, we present them very on Instagram, on TikTok, and their community are small fans of Benny, Alex, Julius, of these different characters, you know? They come, 50% of them coming to see the facility because it's a unique option to see the facility from inside and make some questions. And the other 50% come to see our growers and talk to them how to do that. Some of them have a small tent at home and they have home grow and ask Benny, how can I do that? I have that problem. How can I fix it?
Sure.
Okay.
Wow. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's very unique. I mean, where did you come up with this idea? Like,
this idea was from the first day. We say, if we do that, we want to do that as transparent as possible. Okay. The people have the opportunity to come here. And that idea was before we find that facility. That was the idea. If we make a brand, it have to be open for anyone.
Fascinating. I've never heard of anything like that. You guys do a lot of things that nobody else does.
Thank you.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
And that's part of the mission.
Yeah. It was 1 year planning. The planning is the most important thing. It's similar. If you work on studio layers, the planning is the most important thing. The 1 year that we use for planning the facility, the whole system, everything with the team, it's the most important.
Who is like the leader in Europe from whether it's from a black market or traditional market? Is it Spain? Is it Holland? Who when you think about like where are the world's best growers in Europe?
I would say the best growers at the moment coming from Switzerland. because they have a lot of experience from the CBD market. You have great breeders, you have great growers. The problem is with Holland, with a lot of other companies, they don't give a lot of attention of quality. Okay, we see a big cannabis business coming now from Macedonia. But if you visit the facilities, you see the quality is not similar like Switzerland. Okay, Switzerland stay for quality, and the people or the mentality that we have in Switzerland is based every time on quality. Of course, Switzerland is more expensive than other companies, but the quality is the quality that Switzerland have for the last 200 years. Spain is also a very interesting market. A lot of people who start growing on professional level start in Spain. But currently, I would say the Switzerland market, they have a lot of experience at the last 8 years.
Incredible. In Switzerland, you used to be able to buy cannabis a long time ago, and then it stopped, right? You could buy THC, because I remember, like I was telling you, I was a kid. I was in high school. We came here on a trip and walked by a store. My buddy was like, those are live plants. And he's like, kind of walked in the store and couldn't communicate real well, but like, we were like, can we buy these plants? And they pulled out, I had a whole menu, and we got some flour, and it was beautiful and it was strong, but it wasn't really talked about. You know, everyone at that time was like, oh, you got to go to Amsterdam or you got to go to Holland. So that was like a surprise to me that Switzerland had this. To me, it was like a secret, but everything in Europe was secretive to me as an American traveler. So it was such a nice surprise. I was like, oh, the Swiss, like they love cannabis.
Absolutely.
And have a rich history with cannabis.
Yeah, a lot of younger people who come to Switzerland or visit Switzerland, they never knew that not long time ago it was legal here.
So what happened exactly?
I don't know what's happened, but I'm sure it will come back.
Yeah.
Okay, in few years, Switzerland will legalize it, but I hope, and I'm sure Switzerland will legalize it in a better way than Holland do it. Okay, because the problem that we have in Holland is there are not any rules, you know. It's not a black market. It's not a legal market. It's something.
It doesn't seem like it's grown a whole lot since I was a kid. I came through here to Holland 20 years ago, and some of the rules have changed a little bit. It seems like it's gotten stricter a little bit, but yeah, the industry hasn't seemingly grown significantly, which I think is strange because they were like the leader for a long time.
Absolutely.
And then I don't know what happened. It just kind of plateaued.
It's the politic problem. Okay, when the politicians have no a roadmap, okay, that's the big problem. You know, that's why. Yeah, I know a lot of people from Holland, Netherlands. They buy the cannabis illegal to sell it legal.
Oh yeah,
that makes no sense. You know,
it's a big problem in the States too.
Absolutely.
New York is like that right now. It's all California bud.
I hope if Switzerland or Germany will legalize it one day, that they will do it.
So tell me a little bit about what's the future hold for you? I mean, you plan to expand when it makes financial sense. You have the room to do it. You have the power to do it.
We start the journey. You see that facility, we have 6,000 square meters. We only using 1,000. Okay. And of course, we can start to make one more room. But I think it's too early for that, okay? Our team have to make the experience with that 6,000 plants, with that 2 rooms. They have to make the experience with their mother room, with their clone room. After 1 or 2 years, to make that experience, that we can go to the next step and build more rooms. Because there are a lot of companies in Switzerland, they grew up very fast. If you're growing very fast, the quality of what you are producing getting lower and lower because it's very difficult to manage it. As big as you are, as more difficult is it to manage.
Yeah.
For the next few years, we would like to produce one of the best quality CBD. maybe we have the opportunity to be one of the first who produced medical for the Switzerland or for the Germans or for Austria, cannabis, okay, for the medical cannabis. This is our goal for the next few years. This is one part of GrowMotion. The second part will be the branding, okay, that we get a brand in Germany that everyone knows for good quality, that everyone knows this is a Swiss-made top quality. You know, this is the two goals we have, one of the medical part and one for the branding.
It's nice to hear that you want to be first and you also want to be the best, because I find that historically bigger companies, they want to be first, but like quality is not at the front of what they do. It's an afterthought. And being first is challenging, to be early, because you have to wait for everybody else a little bit. But there's also advantages by being early, because you can establish a market share. You can be that premium brand. If they have no other choice, it at least makes them aware of you. How many people are cultivating in Switzerland, like legally?
I'm not sure, but it's a lot.
Okay.
It's more than we think. Okay, it's a lot. I have no numbers.
Is it more than 100?
Definitely.
Oh, okay.
Definitely. It's more than 100. But in the last 2 years, the market crashed. Okay, and a lot of facility closed.
Yep.
A lot of facility closed. We got the COVID problem. Okay, we had all the supply chain broke down, and the prices, the CBD prices crashed down, and a lot of suppliers who not planning long term, they closed. Okay, and I'm sure definitely more than 100, but you have not more than 10 facilities on that level who can produce a high level medical quality, you know, because of course you can make a area where we can grow some CBD or in a future THC, but you will never get a medical license. Okay, and there are only few facilities. We are one of them to build it as clean as possible. Okay, with all the SOPs to guarantee same quality for a long time.
Have you had officials in here from Switzerland, or local officials, or politicians, or anybody from? Have they come to see this, something like this?
Unfortunately, not. It's a long process, you know. We had some from Swissmedic here. We had some from Zurich University here. We have some doctors here. But unfortunately, it's very difficult to get political people here. Okay. It's an image thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In Switzerland, it's also legal. But if you want to have a bank account for your company, okay, you not get one. Okay. I asked for 6 different banks. Okay. We're talking about the bigger banks, not the smaller. Of them 6, only one of them give me for cannabis an account. Similar thing we have with the politic. Okay. You can talk with 10, 20 different people. If he is a good friend, or you know someone who knows someone, he will come over. But it's very difficult.
It's interesting that they don't want to learn from you guys. Like if I was in their position, I would want to go to the best facilities, because I would want to experience it and understand it more. Especially if you're trying to write laws or lobby for or against something, I would want to understand it. It's interesting that they don't come check it out.
I don't know why. I don't know why they don't do it. Maybe it's too early. Maybe it have other reasons. I don't know.
Sure.
Okay, but we try our best to have the best quality and to find a way to switch in the next few months, few years to medical case.
It's hard to be that patient, you know? You're like, oh, it could be a few months, it could be a few years.
There is no a book where you can read. You have to first to do that, then that, then that. You have all checks, then you can make THC. The European market, it's far away from, to have exact rules how you have to do it to get a confirmation for THC.
Yeah, well, we are here to support you. We're excited to support you. We're grateful to be a part of your journey. And yeah, I mean, to say it again, we're really impressed.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
A lot of people can grow cannabis, but a lot of people can't grow cannabis well. And you start to add in these other equations like you have with triple stack, and it's not an easy execution.
You see that facility, you see that 6,000 square meter. Of course, it's not a big challenge to build one more rooms. And next room, you see we have the Pipps here. We have the LEDs here already. We have everything here ready. Okay, to make the next room, it takes few months because the planning is already done. The confirmation is already there. But I'm sure it's too early. Okay, it's too early. Let's do it step by step, but do it correct.
That's amazing. I wish more people would think the way that you think.
Thank you.
Well, congratulations. I
Thank you
really
very much.
appreciate this time together. Yeah, absolutely blown away and excited to be here and enjoy this culture. And, you know, when I think of Switzerland, I think of like precision and engineering and high quality. And so, you know, you are living it right now. Hopefully everybody around you in your community is very proud of what you guys are building here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Well, next podcast, you can do it in the States.
Of course.
All right.
Of course.
And we'll bring Ben.
Thanks for listening to Cultivation Elevated. Full show notes for each episode, which includes a summary, key takeaways, quotes, and any resources mentioned, are available at pipphorticulture.com/podcast. Be sure to follow and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you're enjoying the content and getting value from these episodes, please leave us a rating and a review at ratethispodcast.com/cultivation elevated. We'll be sure to read these out on future episodes.